Alright, so here's a video, a topic I've been wanting to talk about. It has nothing to do with autism, I don't think so, anyways. It has nothing to do with that. I have heard the arguments again with, remember Pokemon Go? That's still a thing. When it first came out, people were just crazy about it. People were playing it all over the place, people trespassing, people falling off cliffs, stupid things like that. Where was I going with this? I guess, oh, right. I guess the argument is coming back up and with certain, Christian churches, which, by the way, of course, the 10 people who usually watch my videos, you all know this. I am a Christian. I'm going to a Christian school and everything. I've been raised by a pastor myself. The argument started coming up again with Pokemon Go is that video games are evil and... okay, so the weirdest thing with Pokemon Go was that some people were arguing that these Pokemon that people are finding with their phone and capturing are digital demons that are catching on their phone, therefore they're inviting demons into their life somehow. I don't think that's how the spiritual world works. I could be very wrong about that. I'm pretty sure Siri on my iPhone does not connect to the spiritual realm. Could be very wrong. It's very unlikely. And that's more of a pretty far out there kind of thought. But it seems a lot of times that people still think that video games are very bad for the Christian person. And sometimes they argue that, what is it that they say? It's like these people want to escape the real world. And it seems kind of weird, but you would think, of all people, religious people would find the same appeal in that, right? I mean, let's think about this for a second, okay? In the book of Revelation, what is there? Well, it talks about a dragon. A multi-headed dragon. I mean, you know, it's pretty up there. It also talks about these different beasts who are strange looking. However you want to translate that, I don't know. But I mean, the Bible even has these kind of things in there. The Old Testament talks about Leviathan being a creature whose breath is like fire. Whether that actually means breathing fire out of its mouth or just extreme heat, I don't know. Just making it sound scarier than it really is. I don't know if that's what that is. But all these things are in there. These are things of what fairy tales are made out of. Right? You know, we always read about how the knight in armor goes to slay the dragon to free the person who's trapped by said dragon. I mean, that's not a reality that we see, right? That's, in a way, that's escaping reality, right? You know, a lot of the games that I like to play usually have a protagonist who is sometimes either beaten down or starting at the lowest point, and then having to fight their way up, in a way. Sometimes it actually is fighting, sometimes it's just self-sacrificing to save the other people in the story line, right? I mean, that's exactly what Jesus did, right? He starts out in a poor family. He's born to Mary and Joseph, as I guess his, like, you could say, adoptive father, let's say. So he starts at the very lowest point. He has followers. He self-sacrifices himself for the greater good of all the people who want to believe in him and the people he loves, who's everyone, of course. In the end of Book of Revelation, we see a new kingdom that he's built for us. I mean, Come on, right? Is that, to an extent, the same thing? These are things that children believe in, which is something that the Bible tells us to be like, children who believe in these kind of things, right? So why is it suddenly weird that people, get into Star Wars, Star Trek? I'm saying this as looking at Star Trek stuff now. My desktop is Star Trek. I have Star Trek figures on top of my monitor here. But it seems weird people criticize other people for really getting into these kind of things. Now, I would grant you, yes, if these Christians who are into Star Wars and stuff like that and getting all into the lore of it and know everything about every single character of the Star Wars franchise, if they put that same kind of effort into knowing the Bible and everything about it, that would be amazing. Because, I mean, you have the Bible, which you can collaborate with history and understand, hey, all these things are connected. You can learn all these people of how they connect to each other. So I don't get it. I don't understand why people think if you're a Christian, you can't like, video games. You can't like. I know some people argue about Dungeons and Dragons. The dice rolling thing. Some people have concluded before. Somehow playing Dungeons and Dragons will eventually get you to be a person who's trying to cast spells in the real world. I mean, I don't think that's how it works. I know some people get really into it and get really far into it. But I think, as what C.S. Lewis said before, all things in and of itself are good. But he argues what you do with those kind of things makes it bad. Let's see what's weird one you can take this with. Okay, how about this? Marijuana, right? There are some good properties of marijuana when extracted and used properly. But it's how people use the marijuana that could make it bad. An example, smoking it or trying to do whatever they do with marijuana. I don't know, I have no experience with drugs. Except for serving grand jury one time before, and I found out I'm way too cheap for that kind of thing. Anyways, sidetracked. Anyways, yeah, all these things in and of itself are good. Tabletop games in and of itself are good. Video games in and of itself are good for entertainment. It's how you consume it. How do you play it? How far do you get into it? And just what are you getting from the video game? Is it, Grand Theft Auto, those kind of games? I mean, I would argue that that's probably not a very good game. But, I mean, I'm going to leave that up to you. That's not for me to judge. That's my own opinion. Obviously, no one has to agree with me on that one. That's fine. But it's just kind of frustrating when people take a whole thing and then it's like, this is all bad. This is not all bad. That's what I could do with my phone. That can make it bad, sure. I don't know what you can do with a phone. I mean, you could go online. There's a lot of bad things on the internet. So there's that. Or you could use it to look up correct things, good things, wholesome things. You could actually connect with people. That's, in and of itself, is good. But what else can you do with it that can make it bad? So, see what I'm saying? I mean, a person right now, you who may be watching this, are on YouTube, which there's a lot of bad things on YouTube. There's, 7 billion people in the world. A lot of people have the internet. I mean, I realize not 7 billion people have the internet. But even like millions of Americans, millions of Europeans have the internet. Things go on there that can be bad. So you have to kind of like separate what's good and what's bad. It's not all good and it's not all bad. I guess you could say this is where the yin and yang coming together, right? There's good and bad mixing together. Unfortunately, what's that? So, I don't know. Those are my 2 thoughts, and I'm just kind of like, I'm done with it. I had to let this go. I had to let it go. So, hey, thanks for watching this weird rambling thing that has nothing to do with any autism or anything else I usually talk about. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you again some other time. Thank you.